How goes the family? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully, you guys are having a great day. Happy Halloween, all that good stuff. Like I said, I've always been a Halloween junkie as a kid growing up, and always been into different scary movies and things of that nature. As you see behind me, it's funny. Ironically, before I started streaming live, I was actually watching um, the movie Saw. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna for Halloween, since I'm not going out and doing anything, I was just gonna, I worked on all the business stuff earlier today, so I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna binge and watch a couple of cool scary movies and things of that nature. And I was like, you know what? I want to talk to my people. If there's any horror film fans out there, things of that nature, we could chop it up a little bit. If not, it's all good. I'm not going to be on here all night. But thank you for tuning in. And if you were watching, please like the video and share and subscribe and all that good stuff. But as you see behind me, some of my favorite horror movies, from the Halloween movie series with Michael Myers, Jason, Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger was always number one, in my personal opinion. And I know, yeah, you usually talk about finance and whatnot, but every now and life isn't all about finances and whatnot. Life can be about other things that are fun, family, and things of that nature. But one of the funniest people ever when it came to scary movies when I was growing up in the 90s was Freddy Krueger. Okay. He had the wit, he was funny, the whole nine, like all the movies. Now, if you look at them, a lot of them seem to be very corny, but still funny at the same time. I remember I would just die laughing, you know. I remember one of the young ladies from Destiny's Child, I believe her name was Kelly, and when Freddie saw her, he was like, "Oh, dark meat." It was just he would just say funny, stupid stuff like that that would always have me dying laughing all at the same time. But and then it boils down to Saul. That was a movie that really just messed with a person's mental. Okay, and that's why the movie series to me, I can't believe they're still going on even to this day. With the new movie coming out, I made a video about this last week. But a new movie like that, because if it mess with your mind, you could really, if you get into somebody's mind, you can really just mess with them completely. And that's the thing that, in a sense, that Saw and Freddy Krueger had in common, because Freddy Krueger would actually haunt people's dreams and whatnot. Now, when it comes to Jason, Jason was just silent but deadly. That's why he was never in the top tier, but he was always the movies were always good. Michael Myers movies, the Halloween movies were silent but deadly because there was no talking involved. I'm a guy that likes dialogue when I watch. I used to be a big movie watcher. I'm not anymore. So that's why I'm talking about the older movies, because I binge out. If I'm not reading books, I'm listening to podcasts and whatnot. So I figured with it being Halloween and whatnot, hopefully people are just they're staying in, or if they're out and about, they're being as safe as humanly possible. But I will say with all sincerity that the movies that always caught my attention, even the movie It, if you see, let me get, yeah, there it is. You see It behind me. Let you guys get a good look at it. Let me get out of the way. But even with that clown, even though they made a newer version of the movie within I think it was a year or 2 years ago or whatnot, it's still he it would mess with your mind as well. Obviously, I always try to play on the children's mind because he fed off of fear, and the fear would really keep his memory alive. In a sense, Freddy was the same way. If you dig down into it, the Freddy Krueger movie series, it's because people knew about him and kept talking about him. And one of the last Freddy Krueger series is he was able to disappear forever in whatever dimension, fictional dimension that he was in, because the people forgot about him. Okay, and that's the whole thing. That they didn't even speak his name, and anybody who did speak the name, they would lock them up in an insane asylum, unfortunately. But that's how the movie series would go. And in a sense, if you really analyze it a little bit, a lot of people will not go after their dreams because of the fear of what might happen, and they can't get that fear outside of their mind. Okay, when it comes to your financial goals, I can relate it to money. When it comes to financial goals, a lot of people cannot truly, truly accomplish certain things because they have this fear in their mind, and that fear is a monster. And that fear, it can be a Freddy Krueger, it can be a Jason, it can be a Michael Myers, it can be a Saul, it can be a It. Because if you're consistently afraid to do something, to pull the trigger, that you will never go anywhere in this life. There's even people, not even when it comes to business, there's a lot of people who are afraid to go try to get a license in something, whether it's an insurance license, whether it's a mechanic's license, whether it's an electrician's license, certification, all these things. There's certain people who are scared to go to college because they're afraid of failure. They're afraid of looking stupid. And I think that we should all not worry about being scared of being looking like a failure or looking stupid. Heck, when I was younger, people because I was slow to catch on to things, people would call me stupid, and I didn't care. And like I got to the point where I was like, well, I don't care. I'm still going to keep trying. If I didn't keep trying, I would not have the businesses that I have right now. If I did not keep trying, I would not be an avid reader. I read up to 4 pages out of 4 books a day. Even today, I started writing on my own novel called Leachonomics. That's not the full title. I don't need to put it out there, but that's the main aspect of it. So fearing of the unknown, that's not a life worth living. And I think that's what makes such a robust thing of people who are or were in the military, people who are or were law enforcement personnel, people who are medical professionals, people who are paramedics and whatnot. Because every situation that they get themselves into, there's a big fear of what of them not coming back alive. Even surgeons, they could end up one mistake and they could end up slicing off a piece of their body and whatnot, or actually end up getting exposed to something that could, affect them from a health perspective, especially nowadays in the COVID-19 world that we live in. So a lot of those people, even teachers, a lot of teachers deal with a lot of fear and whatnot because certain children that they deal with, or even parents that they deal with, can be kind of crazy. Just depending on the circumstances. I'm not saying all parents or kids are crazy. I'm not putting everybody in one category. But when you're put in a position where you're in a situation where it's a sink or swim, you gotta say to yourself, what are you gonna do? And that's the one thing that horror movies can, in a sense, relate to when it comes to life, because a lot of times people find like the Saw movies is the best example, because people would wake up like in a drug-induced coma and whatnot, and not knowing where they are. They could be they could be tied up on a chain. They could be tied up, missing, or they could be missing a limb. They could be their mouth could be whole face and head, could be just locked up and whatnot. And they don't know. And they're put in a situation where they can go up or down, left or right. And those situations can be crazy and scary all at the same time. And that's when it comes to even your business. Decisions are going to be made. All the preparations, the plans are going to happen, but the unknown will eventually happen. The economy tanks, COVID-19 happens. Your customers aren't coming to you as much as they were. Your tenants aren't paying the rent on time. Something, you have a leaky faucet, you got to get new pipes. Hey, we drive cars. Something eventually is going to happen to the car eventually, and you got to be prepared for it. And I think that's the one thing I can say. Even The Silence of the Lambs, as old as that movie is, the one thing that Anthony Hopkins' character forced Jodie Foster to do was to face her fears. Okay, she was an FBI agent in the movie, and she had somewhat of a good upbringing and whatnot. Growing up in West Virginia, her dad passed away. Dad was a cop, got killed in the line of duty, things of that nature. So I'm trying to, ever since I wore this mask, trying to get it squared away. There we go. And trying to get that whole situation squared up, and she had to face the fear of getting through FBI school, FBI training academy and whatnot, and then even helping seasoned agents crack a specific case and whatnot. And that's what it boils down to a lot of times. We as humans, we thrive in the most unpredictable situations. And I think that's why I give respect to people who are in the military, because they were trained to be put in those situations. So they look at fear and they're like, hey, I'm gonna go at it. And wherever the chips fall, they fall. Hopefully I come through. If not, so be it. But I'll get through it honorably. And I think that we all need to try to challenge ourselves to get through these situations in an honorable manner. When it comes to life, when it comes to dealing with crazy individuals, when it comes to dealing with crazy situations. I mean, on your job, you have teammates. We're all put in, especially nowadays, the moment we walk out of the house, we're put in a position to where our life can be compromised. So I think that's another thing that COVID-19 has actually done for us in a sense. It's made us stronger. You know what I mean? As human beings, because unfortunately, like I said, Europe is being locked down again, and who knows the with it being, the weather's changing, possible chances of people catching the flu and other things. We don't know what's going to happen. It's a very unpredictable time. But does that just mean we bow our heads and just go home and not enjoy our lives and go on? No, I think that means we all, continuously fight and do what we have to do at the end of the day. I don't think we have to just kowtow to life, because when the crazy times arrive, and they always come eventually, the question is, what are you going to do? When you're in that situation, and say life is, in a sense, is like a scary movie. What are you going to do? When you hear that music come on, you got to say to yourself, am I going to ride or am I going to die? And that's what I think we all need to remember, because that's the thing that made Jamie Curtis's character such a strong individual and whatnot. She was dealing with her brother and whatnot that escaped from a sane asylum and whatnot. She decided to fight because she wanted to live another day. And I implore us all, no matter what happens, like I said, when the election's over with, you're still going to have to live. If there's another lockdown, we're still going to have to live. We're going to have to survive, And I think that's why I said the relevancy of scary movies, puts people in positions, no matter how stupid they are, because you always got that dumb person that there's even a commercial that mocks this nonsense. But you have these people that are put in these specific situations to where that they, if they're put in these certain situations, what are they going to do? What are you going to do? Let me know in the comment sections, because like I said, it's a real reality of life. It really truly is. It's for the most part, not going anywhere. I think we're going to deal with this situation for a long, long time. Okay. And that's just what it is. You know what I mean? And who knows what 2021 is going to bring us. But life, in a sense, is like a scary movie. Okay. And what, the chips are going to fall where they fall. I mean, they're one of the characters you see behind me from the movie Scream. I remember when Scream first came out, I think I was in the 6th grade. No. I was in the 8th grade. Yeah. 8th grade. Yeah, I remember that. And, it was the two crazy wacko guys that were, they were basically killing people in their high school. If you see the Scream characters right next to Michael Myers and whatnot, Michael Myers is right next to Jason. And I remember these two crazy guys, they were going after the high school friends, supposedly, and killing them and whatnot, and even killing a certain amount of their parents and whatnot, and kidnapping their parents because they had a lot of vengeance and anger and rage against them, But you had certain characters throughout that movie that they survived. And in the scary movie, the plot is usually you always have at least one person in the original cast survive and whatnot from the traumatic experience and whatnot. So I say that all of us that are surviving from because for a lot of people, this has been a very traumatic time and whatnot. Not to get too serious and whatnot, but it truly has. It's been a traumatic time. And, a lot of people, they're not going to be the same after this. There's still not a lot of comfort level. And if there is more, unfortunately, when it comes to COVID, if there are more cases, I mean, cold, when the weather gets cold out, I don't get out of the house much, before that. Obviously, none of us really have with this COVID-19, but with the cold weather here, I'm not really in the habit of really being out of the house unless I truly, truly have to. So, with that being said, I'm just like, it is what it is, but I'm looking forward to the new year. That's one thing I can say. I'm looking forward to the new year, but I'm not looking forward to another shutdown. I don't think any reasonable person is looking for, another shutdown or whatnot. When I saw the announcement from the UK Prime Minister, I was just like, well, okay, well, it's one of those, it is what it is situations, But anyways, back to scary movies. Great example. Another movie, The Children of the Corn. Now that goes back. I think I'm really dating myself when it comes to The Children of the Corn. But The Children of the Corn was basically, um, the what makes and produce the corn and whatnot actually has magic to it, and obviously there was certain demons and whatnot within the cornfields that would actually take people out and whatnot if they went in there, or either if they didn't kill them, they'd possess them and turn them into something else, whatnot that was actually more controlled and things of that nature. Okay, so with that being said, we with the cold season here, we might be placed in more and more situations to where things might not be the same. I mean, we already see where entertainment's not the same. We already see where, being able to even, a lot of places people can't even work out and go to the gym and whatnot. So, a lot of these things take place. But we have to, I remember when the gyms first shut down for me, I had to start working out more at home. I mean, hey, thank you for the YouTube library. I was able to, develop a new routine. And by the time I got used to the routine, the gyms opened up back up again. And I was very happy about that. But, certain things transpired. And I hope that we're able to still be able to move forward and whatnot. Because, nothing's ever going to be the same. And that's another thing that you can take away from a scary movie is that nothing, usually the survivors of the movies are never the same. They even live like great example. Speaking of which, if you analyze the Scream movies, the one young lady, Cindy, who was played by Naomi Campbell, not I.M. but Campbell, I forgot her name, but anyways, yeah, I don't know, I keep thinking about her, yeah, but anyways, Nev Campbell, that was her name, Nev Campbell. I know his last name was Campbell. But anyways, she ended up having a stay-at-home lifestyle during a time frame where most people did not have a stay-at-home lifestyle. For example, her job, she was like a customer service rep and whatnot, working from home. She had her food delivered and whatnot to the house. She literally had a lifestyle where she did not have to leave the house. It kind of like a lot of people have right now because, but this is before they got an app for that generation and whatnot. And she was doing that to ensure, and she lived out in the middle of nowhere to ensure that she was safe from any and everybody and whatnot. I think with this situation, it's actually going to make more people feel like that all at the same time. Excuse me, where they are not trying to be out as least amount as possible. I mean, that's a bigger reason why you see so many people leaving the major cities nowadays. Because at first people were itching to get to them, but now it's just like a lot of people want out and they want suburban life or they want to live in the country, especially for those who are able to work remotely. I mean, hey, if you can live in a cheaper state and especially a cheaper town and you can just make your money remotely, why not? I think that's the beautiful thing about the United States of America. You got options as long as you work towards them, right? But yeah, I think with that, but the lesson to learn from the Scream movies is that even when Nev Campbell got into her comfort zone, and I always say the comfort zone is a death sentence, she noticed that the murders were happening again to people that she loved and liked and whatnot, and she went to Los Angeles / Hollywood, California, to tackle and see who the person was that was actually starting the killings again and whatnot in regards to her friends and family and things of that nature. So that's another lesson to take from that movie because she faced her fears. She went back, because I think this is by the third Scream and whatnot, as some of the movies were getting, to be overrated. But she challenged her fear. She constantly went forward and say, "I'm ready for you." And that's another thing, even with the Michael Myers movies, the Halloween movies. Jamie Lee Curtis consistently went after her brother and challenged him and took him on and whatnot. And every time she thought he was dead or he was locked up, that's another story for another day. But, hey, she would at least try and go after the individuals to make sure that, that she wasn't going to have to, deal with that fear for the rest of her life. It's like I said, I totally get it and I totally respect it. And I think that's what, we need to, as a society, continuously do is to face our fear. Okay. No matter what the situation is. Okay. And I will be wrapping things up soon, family, but, so I can continue my, scary movie night, but I think at the end of the day, that's the story to just take into consideration. Um, and just go from there. Okay, face your fears, move forward, and hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. And thank you for tuning in. And as always, do the great three free things, family. Like, share, and subscribe. And hopefully you enjoyed tonight's little talk. Wasn't planning on being on that long. And I wanted to really just chop it up with my family and, and enjoy life all at the same time because, you got one life to live. And I think that we just need to be able to go for it and go forward and have fun all at the same time. So on that note, family, I will bid you adieu. Let's put some better music on. All right, family. I will see y'all later. Take care.